Excellency President Temer, Your Excellency President Putin, Your Excellency Prime Minister Modi, Your Excellency President Xi, honorable ministers from various countries of Brics, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have all of you gathered here. From its formation, the BRICS partnership has had its sight firmly set on the future. It is itself the product of a rapidly changing world, which has seen the emergence of new economies, the realignment of old alliances, and shifts in the balance of global power. It is therefore appropriate that at this moment in the evolution of BRICS, we should focus on collaboration for inclusive growth and shared prosperity in the fourth industrial revolution. Quantum leaps in technology and innovation present enormous opportunities for growth, for development, and indeed for human progress. This surge in innovation has the potential to dramatically improve the productivity and to place entire countries on a new trajectory of growth and prosperity. It has the potential to solve many of the social problems we face by better equipping us to combat disease, hunger, and environmental degradation. However, unless it is approached in a collaborative manner, underpinned by a developmental agenda, rapid technological change could merely serve to entrench existing disparities within and between countries. It could also create new fault lines in our society. This places, therefore, a huge and great responsibility on all of us. Through our collective effort, by working together, I'm certain that we will be able to confront the challenges and seize the opportunities that this new age of development also presents us. We proceed from the understanding that this is not simply a digital revolution, but a fundamental shift in the way that people live, in the way they work, and in the way that they relate to each other. It is a phenomenon that cuts across all industries and all technologies. There is no area of economic activity that is immune and untouched by technological disruption. According to Professor Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, the fourth industrial revolution is characterized by a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. This means, therefore, that our response needs to be comprehensive and integrated. As BRICS countries, we should not become mere adopters or observers of new technologies. Rather, we need to combine our resources and expertise to become innovators and creators. We should not allow technology to shape our societies. We must instead ensure that the needs of our societies shape the technologies that we develop in our various countries. We must ensure that mastery of the fourth industrial revolution does not become the exclusive preserve of just a handful of countries. We must promote inclusivity, diversity, and cooperation. Excellencies, The technologies of the fourth industrial revolution provide developing and emerging economies with the opportunity to leapfrog the technologies of the preceding revolutions. The rapid adoption of mobile telecommunications in Africa and other parts of the developing world, for example, demonstrates how innovation can ignite sudden bursts of development. It demonstrates that, properly harnessed, new technologies can ensure more efficient processes and more reliable systems of service delivery. They can expand economic participation by ensuring that knowledge and information is more broadly disseminated across the population. To succeed, however, we need to equip our people with the necessary skills to thrive in such a society and in such an economy. The World Economic Forum predicts that the three most important skills for an employee or a worker by 2020 will be complex solving problems, critical thinking, and creativity. Without adequate training, only a few emerging countries will possess these skills in sufficient numbers, while others will see their prospects stifled by automation. There is a new need to develop more agile and applied education models. Whilst this must start even before a child enters school and continue right through to our universities and colleges, there is an urgent need in developing and emerging economies to reskill a significant portion of the current workforce. Governments should formulate and institute policies that are supportive of these processes. Such policies should provide a favorable environment for foreign investment. Such investment improves the supply of relevant skills and expands capacity for research. Equally important are policies that support and stimulate local industries. It is against this backdrop that BRICS Ministers of Industry resolved to establish the BRICS Partnership on the New Industrial Revolution. It aims to translate the vision of the second decade of BRICS cooperation into a reality through deepened cooperation. Under the partnership and in support of the manufacturing sector, a new industrial revolution advisory group comprised of policymakers and experts from all BRICS countries will be established. As the BRICS Forum, we can neither ignore nor take for granted the realities of the fourth industrial revolution. As we enter the second golden decade of BRICS, we need to look to the future and place ourselves at the forefront of the extraordinary changes that are taking place. In conclusion, our officials must engage in robust discussions to develop concrete and effective actions. As a bloc, we should use this opportunity to ensure that we fully appreciate and exploit the opportunities presented by this wondrous new age of technology in building a brighter shared future for humanity. I thank you all, and I'm now going to invite the other leaders to make their own statements, and I would like to invite His Excellency, President Xi Jinping, to deliver his statement. Thank you.
Your Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, Your Excellency President Michel, Your Excellency President Vladimir Putin, Your Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let me begin by thanking President Ramaphosa and the South African government again for your warm hospitality and thoughtful arrangements. The Brics Summit is convened in Africa again after a lapse of 5 years. This is an occasion to celebrate. The theme of this summit, BRICS in Africa, collaborating for inclusive growth and shared prosperity in the fourth industrial revolution, is most fitting under the current circumstances. The previous 3 industrial revolutions, the rise of mechanization in the 18th century, the harnessing of electricity in the 19th century, and the advent of the information age in the 20th century, were all characterized by transformative advancements in science and technology. Such breakthroughs have greatly unleashed social productivity and significantly improved people's living standards and profoundly shaping the course of human history. Today, we are experiencing another revolution in science, technology, and industry, only greater in scope and depth. Breakthroughs are being made in quick succession in frontier technologies like big data and artificial intelligence. New technologies, new business models, and new industries are emerging one after another. Countries around the world have found their interests and future tied together like never before. That said, we have yet to sustain global growth with new driving forces and to address the North-South imbalance. What is more, constant flare-ups of geopolitical conflicts and the escalation of protectionism and unilateralism are directly affecting the external development environment of emerging markets and developing countries. History keeps surging forward, independent of people's wish. We, the BRICS countries, must therefore have a keen grasp of the trend of our times, deepen our strategic partnership, and consolidate our cooperation framework underpinned by economic, political, and security cooperation and people-to-people exchanges. This way, we will turn our vision of a second golden decade into a reality and build a community with a shared future for mankind. First, we must unlock the enormous potential for our economic cooperation. Closer economic cooperation for shared prosperity is the original purpose and priority of BRICS cooperation. It is also in the economic field that we enjoy the most promising, diverse, and fruitful cooperation. We need to step up trade, investment, economic, financial, and connectivity cooperation to make this pie still bigger. At the same time, we must work together at the United Nations, the Group of 20, and the World Trade Organization to safeguard the rule-based multilateral trading regime, promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, and reject protectionism outright. It is important that we continue to pursue innovation-driven development and build a partnership on new industrial revolution to strengthen coordination on macroeconomic policies, find more complementarities in our development strategies, and reinforce each other's efforts in renewing economic driving forces and upgrading economic structure. In this context, China will host 17 human resources development programs. Experts from our 5 countries will be invited to draw up a blueprint for our cooperation in the new industrial revolution. We'll host 10 human resources development programs. Second, we must safeguard global peace and security. Political and security cooperation is an important component of BRICS strategic partnership. We should stay committed to multilateralism and to the purposes and principles of the UN Charter. We should call on all parties to abide by international law and basic norms governing international relations, and to settle disputes through dialogue and differences through consultation. By fully leveraging the role of BRICS meetings of foreign ministers, national security advisors, and permanent representatives to the United Nations, we can make our voice heard, put forward our solutions, and jointly work for a new type of international relations featuring mutual respect, equality, justice, and win-win cooperation. Third, we must expand people-to-people exchanges. We, the BRICS countries, boast great civilizations. When it comes to cultural and people-to-people exchanges, there is a lot we can do together. Such exchanges have notably gained momentum over the last year or two. We should aim at greater people-to-people connectivity and more popular support for BRICS cooperation through extensive exchanges in cultural, educational, health, sports, tourism, and other areas. During the Xiamen Summit last year, we held a series of programs for people-to-people exchange. For example, the film exhibition by 5 countries, including the one where the time has gone. And we also organized other sport activities. Just now, at our close session, President Putin put forward an initiative which has been responded warmly by all the parties. That is, starting now and aiming at the next decade, we need to have more and more robust people-to-people exchanges and institutionalize such exchanges. We also propose joint touring exhibitions by the BRICS alliances of museums, art museums, national galleries, and libraries, and closer cooperation in cultural, creative, and tourism industries, and at the subnational level. We can spread the story far and wide to further enhance the mutual understanding and the traditional friendship among our people. Fourth, we must build a network of closer partnerships. Since the inception of the BRICS mechanism, openness and inclusiveness have remained our abiding commitment. The BRICS Plus approach we adopted at the Xiamen Summit is designed to strengthen the unity and coordination among BRICS members for greater cohesion, and at the same time to keep broadening the BRICS circle of friends in a joint pursuit of shared development and prosperity for all emerging markets and developing countries. We may explore BRICS Plus cooperation within the United Nations, the G20, and other frameworks to advance the common interests and boost the development space for emerging markets and developing countries, contributing more to world peace and development through broader partnerships. Colleagues, the future of BRICS is in the hands of our people. Let us work together with the rest of the international community for an open, inclusive, clean, and beautiful world with lasting peace, universal security, and common prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, President Xi Jinping. It is now my honor and pleasure to request His Excellency President Michel Temer from Brazil to deliver his statement.
Thank you, President Ramaphosa, President Putin, President Xi Jinping, Prime Minister Modi. First of all, I wish to reiterate once again my thanks for the warm welcome and also for the impeccable organization arrangements that have marked this 10th Brics Summit. I would also like to say that the topic that brings us together, dear colleagues, is a very timely and opportune topic, because if we do wish to be in tune with present times, and this is indeed our duty as heads of government, the fact is that the nature and the implications of the fourth industrial revolution must be a substantial part of our shared and joint agenda. We are all familiar with the underlying logic that pervades this new industrial revolution. Information, knowledge, and the digital dimension of things have definitely become the core of economic activity. And more than ever before, behind one single product are the hands and the brains from different parts of the world. And this is the general rule today. We can only be competitive if we are open. And I mean open to more sophisticated inputs, open to more advanced technologies and bolder ideas. Open in some to more investments and to more trade. Our production structures as currently in place are currently being totally redesigned. Every society, of course, is currently going through this process in its own manner and fashion, prompted by its own internal dynamics. Each society has, of course, sought out their pathway in this regard. The fact is, nevertheless, that the transformations currently underway have deeply changed international economic relations and have had a direct impact on the everyday life of our workers, business community, consumers, universities, and governments. BRICS, given the weight of our companies in the global flows of trade and capitals, is a special forum for us to examine how far this revolution has been achieved. The key point here is for us to remain continuously up to date in view of a reality that is constantly changing out there. In this regard, of course, human resources are a decisive factor. Professionals, entrepreneurs, researchers, students, public policy developers, we must all be ready and prepared for an increasingly speedy and more flexible world. A world where a country's biggest asset is its citizens' ability to assimilate knowledge and coordinate knowledge in a relevant, swift, and creative manner. With the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, it is precisely that ability that will bring about competitive advantages in science, technology, and innovation. It is precisely that ability that will yield sustained growth and high-quality jobs. Our first response in Brazil to these challenges has been about investments in education, technical and academic training for professional development. Hence, our commitment in Brazil to enhance education at its different levels. One of the main reforms undertaken by my administration was precisely the secondary education reform. Instead of the rigid and outdated curricula and syllabuses of the past, we have introduced a new model that prioritizes student autonomy. Students today are able to learn more and better. Just as important, students today enjoy more conducive conditions to discover and develop their professional call. The purpose here is to enable our young people, and through our young people, of course, by extension, enable our country to successfully engage in an increasingly constructive relationship with the changing world out there. Yet another response has been about more integration. Together with our Mercosur member countries and partners, we have recovered and restored the idea of a free market which had motivated the bloc from its very origin. Again, we are working to eliminate barriers instead of erecting barriers. And we have either resumed or opened up new economic and commercial negotiation fronts with countries, for example, such as those of the Pacific Alliance, with which we have just recently signed a joint declaration. New work fronts have been tapped into with countries such as South Korea, Singapore, Canada, and the EFTA, the European Free Trade Organization, plus Morocco and Tunisia. We have never been so close to successfully completing the bi-regional Mercosur-European Union agreement. Of course, we have been looking for greater openness and as a result, the permanent upgrading and updating of our economy. Yet again, another response to the challenges we face has been about disseminating digital technology. In this regard, we have in place policies mainly geared towards very small, and medium enterprises, which have contributed and currently account for almost 30% of the Brazilian GDP. Not by accident, the business environment for startup companies has flourished in Brazil. In this year alone, we have seen the emergence of 3 such companies that have thus far achieved market value of more than $1 billion. And much more has been done to better prepare and equip Brazil in view of the ongoing 4th industrial revolution. We have accordingly developed a number of different programs that will position Brazil among those countries that most invest in innovation, particularly for the purposes of research and development. More than just continuing to actively take part in the new economic networks linked to the new industrial revolution, we wish to help shape its direction. And we wish to do it in outright consultation with our partners, among which quite certainly BRICS have a high-profile role and position. As I have mentioned before, the ultimate purpose of BRICS should be that of sharing development and enjoying shared development prospects. Our BRICS friends can rely on all support and enthusiasm of Brazil to foster greater cooperation in this arena. Together, we will be better positioned to tap into the opportunities stemming from the 4th industrial revolution. Of course, we will always be working to advocate the well-being of our populations and peoples. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President.
Obrigado, Sr. Presidente Temer.
It is now my honor and pleasure to ask President Putin to make his statement.
Thank you, Mr. President Ramaphosa, dear friends, President Xi Jinping, President Temer, Prime Minister Modi, dear colleagues. Recently, in a closed meeting, we've noted, and I'd like to start my to remember this once again, remind us once again that these days we are celebrating together centennial anniversary of the outstanding statesman of the South African, Nelson Mandela. During his entire life, he has been upholding and protecting the principles of equality, openness, and fairness. I think that we have full right to state that Mr. Mandela's legacy is reflected in the activities of BRICS. These principles are the basis of the cooperation between the BRICS member states, and it has the character of the real strategic partnership. BRICS membership are reacting jointly to the threats and challenges of our peace and stability. We are cooperating in fighting terrorism, extremism, drug trafficking, trans-border organized crime. And BRICS has a unique play in the global economy. This is the largest market in the world, and the joint GDP is 42% of the global GDP and keeps growing, the 22.3%. And economic sphere, the BRICS countries are collectively solving problems related to modernization of the industry, development of modern technologies, high technologies, development of our competitive edge, and improvement of the life of our population. Those are the priorities of the South African chairmanship in the BRICS, and these priorities the BRICS member states took into account in their work during this year, and this work has been successful. Here we are talking about the theme which has been proposed for a discussion at this meeting. The 4th industrial revolution, or the so-called digital revolution, affects the development of all countries of the world, and including BRICS member countries. The digitalization process covers almost all spheres of our life, creates new economic centers, reduces costs, and increase the productiveness and efficiency of labor. Our task is create comfortable environment in order to attract investments into the state-of-the-art economic sectors, to stimulate the creation of new technologies and their introduction into the economy. The digitalization is one of the priorities of the economic policy of my country, Russia. We've adopted a national technological initiative. It's a set of measures to guarantee the technological development of Russia till 2035. We've launched the Digital Economy of Russia program. We expect that this program will allow us to increase the labor productivity by 2024 by 30%, and new sectors of Russian economy will generate 10%, more than 10% of Russian GDP. In the environment of digital realities, it's very important to guarantee the safety and security of business and our citizens. We take necessary measures, legislative and other measures, in order to achieve the situation when the creation of safe and reliable internet environment go hand in hand with due guarantee of protection of personal data and private life in digital sphere. We hope that closer partnership of BRICS countries in the area of digital economy will allow us to get better qualitative and quantitative indicators of our cooperation. For Russia, consolidation of our trade and investment links with BRICS partners is of high priority. In 2017, the trade with our BRICS countries has grown 30%, which was more than 102 billion of dollars, and we are aiming at further developing this kind of partnership. We pay special attention to the direct contacts between our businessmen. I support new initiatives of Business Council of BRICS in the area of e-commerce, SMEs, and proposals to simplify administrative barriers in order to stimulate trade between our countries. We evaluate positively the activities of the Council for implementation of joint multilateral projects. This should go hand in hand with the activities of new development bank. And business should be involved in filling up credit portfolio of the bank. Recently, the operative activities of the new development bank has expanded notably. Board of directors of the bank has approved 21 projects, and out of this number, 5 projects will be implemented in Russia with the budget of $5 billion. We support creation of regional branches of the bank. The negotiations are going now with Brazil. We hope that when these negotiations are over, we start to analyze the possibility to open a national office in Russia. We evaluate positively the creation of the contingent reserves arrangement, which is a very important tool for operative financing of our banking sector, for collecting and processing statistical data of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. In 2017, in Xiamen, the decision has been taken by us to create bond fund of national currencies of BRICS. It's very important for the development of financial and currency systems of our countries. A practical launch of this fund in 2019 corresponds to the BRICS interests. We are grateful to our BRICS partners for their support of Russian idea to create BRICS Energy Research Center. I'm sure that from the quality point of view of its reviews and forecasts, it will be able to compete as equal with leading world energy analytical agencies. I'd like to attract the attention to the Russian bid to organize World Expo 2025 in Yekaterinburg city. We do not compete here with cities from Brazil, India, China, or South Africa. Dear friends, we really count on your support. And at the end of my presentation, I'd like to thank our South African friends, the President of South Africa, Mr. Ramaphosa, for enormous contribution into practical interaction in the framework of BRICS. And thank you for paying attention to our idea to expand our cooperation in the humanitarian sectors, sport, cinema, etc. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, President Putin. It's now my pleasure to ask Prime Minister Modi to make his statement. Prime Minister.
Your Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa ji, President Temer, President Putin, President Xi Jinping,
Today, the world is standing at the crossroads of all kinds of changes. The new industrial technologies and digital interface that are building a new world. They represent an opportunity and a challenge. With new systems and products, there will be new paths to economic progress. It is always most important to put people and human values at the heart of development and progress. Therefore, it is very important for us to think seriously also about the consequences of the fourth industrial revolution taking place in the world of technology, as this will have far-reaching impacts on people and economies in countries like ours. One welcome consequence of Industry 4.0 will be closer contact. The world will be flatter. Those who can make the most of this will be able to make more progress. Many deprived sections of society will be able to leapfrog across various stages of development and technology. However, it is difficult to predict the impact that these increasing inequalities and rapid changes will have on society, on human values. During the fourth industrial revolution, talent will be more important than capital. High skill but temporary work will be the new face of jobs in the future in the field of industrial production, design, and manufacturing. There will be fundamental changes that will take place with digital platforms, automation, and data flows. Geographical distances will become much less important. And when digital platforms, e-commerce, and marketplaces are linked with such technologies, then we will see new kinds of industries and business leaders getting created. The different ways, the different speeds at which we can control wealth, resources, and ideas today or lose control over them was never possible before in the history of mankind. We don't know what the consequences will be of all this, but one thing is clear: whatever happens, it will be far-reaching and serious. I therefore believe that our discussion under the BRICS framework will help us to be ready for the fourth industrial revolution. We need to discuss how, in the times we come, we can prepare ourselves totally for it. One important question that will arise will be about the kind of jobs and opportunities that will be available. As far as we can see, traditional manufacturing will continue to be a big source of jobs for our youth. On the other hand, it will be extremely necessary to bring about a change in the skills of our workers. We need to, therefore, make rapid changes in our policies and approach related to education and skill development. We will need to develop school curricula and university courses in such a way that they are able to prepare our youth for the future. We need to be alert and ensure that the very fast changes that are taking place in technology find themselves reflected at least the same pace in our educational courses.
देश के लिए नेशनल
In India, our experience in this regard has been we've started the National Skill Development Mission. The objective of this mission is to provide relevant technical and vocational skills to our youth. Our government's focus is on ensuring that both men and women and people of all classes of society have access to affordable and quality technical, vocational, and higher education. Excellencies, appropriate use of new opportunities can make a job seeker become a job creator. At the same time, it is imperative to have a strong social security arrangement for the jobless. Portability of social security benefits will ensure mobility of skilled workers in this digital era. Excellencies, technological inventions can help in better service delivery, in raising productivity levels, and for better management of labor issues. In India, our experience in this regard has been very positive. Compliance with labor laws, social security, direct payment to beneficiaries for health insurance, and other various government schemes are examples of better delivery using technology. In today's times, technology is the biggest disruptor. It is difficult to even imagine the outcome of Industry 4.0. We will need to manage globalization and migration resulting from this disruption by better multilateral coordination and collaboration. Especially, it will become even more important to provide social security to the skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled workers, all the workers in the unorganized sector. We are all very well aware of the importance of uniting in our effort in dealing with the challenges of cybersecurity. Industry 4.0 will further increase these challenges and needs. India wants to work along with Brics countries in the area of the fourth industrial revolution. In this regard, we must share best practices and policies. Keeping in mind the technical changes happening now and anticipated in the future for Brics countries and for the entire world, I would like to suggest that our ministers must discuss this in detail and consult with experts when required. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister Modi. We will now move to another segment, but I just want to reiterate something that we have heard. The 5 leaders, following a proposal by President Putin, decided that as we commence another decade, which we call the golden decade of BRICS, we should add this other important and effective aspect to the BRICS cooperation by deepening the people-to-people component so that BRICS should not just be seen as a meeting of leaders, but must be seen to be inclusive at a number of levels by adding the sports and cultural dimension. We should have a BRICS sports process in a number of sporting codes, some of which some of our countries specialize in. As you look at the BRICS countries, each one of us has developed a certain speciality and capability in some of the sporting codes. And this will enhance the spreading and popularity of the sports that may not necessarily be played at a high level in our respective countries. At the cultural level, we will want to have and enhance linkages in areas such as film and cinematography and museums and other art forms. All our countries are world-renowned as being excellent in certain either sporting codes or cultural processes. This level of cooperation, and indeed there will be a measure of competition as well, will have an economic dimension to it and deepen the BRICS relationships. We have therefore directed our officials to give effect and meaning to this decision. In our meeting, we also took time to congratulate Russia for the organization of a well-run FIFA World Cup. We also congratulated Russia, the Russian team, for their own performance, which was truly outstanding and lifted the spirits of many people because they truly outperformed themselves, and therefore we congratulated them. And as we move to the next segment, we will allow the heads of state to be conducted out to another room, and thereafter we will join all of the other participants in the other room in the next 15 minutes or so. Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of this session. Thank you.